Hey, Kathy in Austin, Texas. Matthew here with freeprescriptionlenses.com, and I'm going to show you how I cut prescription lenses for your new RayBan 5228 color 2012, which is the dark Havana tortoise and the 50i size. So let's go ahead and begin. I'm going to take everything out of the original packaging. This is your RayBan case, your RayBan cleaning cloth, and of course your RayBan frame with a little plastic sleeve that RayBan puts on there to protect the temples during shipping so they don't rub together. And of course I'm going to ship them the same way to you. These are the original demo lenses, one of them that says RayBan on there. I'm going to take these out, and of course you're going to receive all these. You get all the original manufacturer's packaging. And this is the RayBan 5228, and I'm going to hold it up to the light so you can see the tortoise color, because my GoPro camera, being high def still in this lighting, does not show you that when I drop it down here. But I'm going to put your frame into my Santinelli edger. This is the LE1000, and I'm going to trace the shape of the lens. I've been actually having a little problem with the equipment, so I'm only going to trace one side of the lens tonight. Here at freeprescriptionlenses.com, where everyone loves a bargain and no one is disappointed in quality. Although I'm disappointed my $30,000 edger is messing up. So I'm going to pull up the shape of the lens onto the computer. Let me flip it over to the right lens, which we do first. I'm going to measure the frame's PD, as it's called, pupillary distance, and I am getting 67. So I'm going to enter that into the computer. Your pupillary distance is 61, so I'm going to enter that here. These are polycarbonate lenses that I'm cutting for a Xyle frame, which is just an old school name for plastic. So let me take your lenses. You are actually very rare. You have the same powers in both eyes, -3, -1/4 at 60, -3, -1/4 at 84. So both of these, -3, -1/4. I'm going to take the first lens, take it out of its protective sleeve. I'm going to spin the axis wheel of my Marco 101 lensometer to 60. I'm going to put the lens in, turn the power drum to -3. I'm going to put your lens in and rotate it until the sphere power comes in clearly. Find the optical center. Double check everything, your astigmatism correction, everything's lining up good. And now I'm going to put 3 dots on your lenses, which are probably too light for you to see, so I'm going to darken them. That is 1, 2, and 3. And this is the right lens. I'm going to put that onto my blocker, my speedy blocker. Now your left lens, -3, -1/4 at 84. I'm going to spin the axis wheel to 84. Hopefully you can see the 84 in there. And again, this is on -3. I'm going to put your lens in, rotate it. Actually, I had it dead on, but I'm still going to rotate it again just to double check. That is good. I'm going to put the clamp down, hold it in place. Check your astigmatism correction. That looks good. Now 3 more dots on there, and I'll explain what all this means in a little bit. It means you need glasses, that's what it means. But you've come to the right place. And that is the left lens. So this is a block, or as I like to call them, a Jenny from the block. I need to attach, I don't have any new jokes, I'm sorry, Kathy. But I need to stick this on your lens. So I need a double-sided adhesive sticker. And don't you know, out of Minnesota is 3M. They make a double-sided adhesive sticker. The black side is the sticky side, so I'm going to stick that onto the block. Pull the tape away. And what I'm looking into now is just like the crosshairs of a scope. I have a vertical meridian and a horizontal one. The reason why I put those 3 dots on there is I want to line up those 3 dots on the horizontal meridian, and then on the vertical meridian it's going to go right through that center one. So let me get everything lined up just perfectly. And I know you can't see what I'm doing, but hey, trust me, that is perfect. I'll do the same thing now for the left lens. Pull that sticker off, dry everything off. My wife wonders how I get stains on my clothes. Sorry, honey. Okay, so put the blocker in there, pull the sticker off, put that on there, pull the tape away, and now let's get those 3 dots lined up where they're supposed to, and the vertical one right through the center. Now, because you're anti-glare coating, it makes it a little bit more slippery while it's cutting. And so I'm going to put one more sticker on there so it grips really well inside the chuck. I'm going to stick one on the left lens and now the right lens, and let's go ahead and begin. I'm going to put your right lens into the chuck, or as you know by now, as I like to call it, the Charles. But the calipers are going to come down and it's going to trace the shape of the right side of your frame. Make sure that is correct. Yes, the right side of the frame. To make sure the lens will fit, it starts on the concave surface, which is closest to the eyelashes, the rear surface. And then it's going to move over and trace the convex front surface of the lens, all the while measuring the thickness of the lens as it goes around. The cutting wheel is down here on the bottom left. It's that lighter color wheel that's going to act like a heavy grit sandpaper that's going to grind away your lens material. And this wheel in the center with that channel, that little valley, that's what's going to put the bevel onto the lens so it stays inside the frame. I will have to close the door in a moment, but for now I just want you to see as your prescription lens touches down on the cutting wheel. There we go. So your lenses are made out of a material called polycarb. Polycarb is 40% thinner and lighter than regular plastic. It is also virtually unbreakable. It is bulletproof up to a .22 caliber and has both UVA and UVB protection built into it. We know what the sun's harmful ultraviolet rays can do to your skin, where your eyes are 8 times more sensitive than your skin, so you have permanent sunscreen for your eyes, unlike the lotions, cream, and sprays where you have to reapply every couple hours. This is permanent. Your lens is also aspheric, meaning not spherical. A spherical lens means completely round in every direction. It's going to give you that ugly cosmetic fishbowl appearance that you see people who buy cheap glasses. These are going to be, not only are they thinner, but the curvature itself is much flatter. It starts off round in the center and then flattens out dramatically. So that's going to give you a much better cosmetic appearance when we're done. You also have an anti-glare coating on there. That's the only thing you paid for. You paid $170 for the frame. Your prescription lenses are free. Hey, you get it? You get it? And you paid for the anti-glare coating, which is 1 penny shy of $40. So the frame is $170, the anti-glare is $39.99, and you paid $209.99 for these, if my math is correct. But the anti-glare feature is actually 3 features in one. The first feature is that it does just that. It eliminates glare when driving at night, particularly driving at night in the rain. But from street lights, stoplights, computer screens, overhead fluorescent lights, and the like. Now the second feature is it's an anti-reflective coating. That's why I have abbreviated ARC, which stands for anti-reflective coating. The anti-reflective meaning that no one is looking at their reflection in your glasses while they're looking at you, so it makes for much better eye contact. Plus, if anyone takes a picture with the flash, you don't see the flash lit up, you see just your eyes in the picture. Now the third feature that I like, the practical side, is that it comes with a very strong scratch coating, because it's a $1 million machine that applies the anti-glare coating, and it takes 24 hours. So they want to put the best scratch protection they can on top of that lens to save it. Now, we did not go with the polished lens as we talked about. Anyone out there who's watching that, I'm going to tell you now, I'm not a fan of the polished edges, because especially you have an anti-glare coating to keep glare out of the front. If you polish the edge of the lens, you're just going to let glare in through the sides, and you get this weird skeleton halo effect around the edges of your lens. Yes, for the sake of argument, your lens does look better from the side, but how many people look at you, at your silhouette from the side, and how many people are fixated just on your lens if they're looking at the side of your face? Most eye contact is always done from the front. When you have a polished lens, light from every direction causes a little halo at the edges. And so I explained that in my email to her, one of my numerous ones. And actually, Kathy, I do want to take the time and say how fun it was to correspond with you. I'm very much a people person, and all day long I'm talking to people, but online I never get a chance to talk to anybody. So we exchanged several emails along the way, and I just want to say it was fun to be able to do that. By the way, I just applied the safety bevel onto your lens. You had some rough edges there that I smoothed out. I used my thumbnail. Look at that. I've got a V-shaped bevel in my thumbnail because I scraped the edges so much in the course of a day. But once it's all on the counter, I collect it very neatly and responsibly into one pile, and then I wipe it on the floor. Why? Because the clown gets to have fun while he's at work too. It's not all fun and games. It's a lot of fun though. But let's go ahead and get your lens mounted in the frame. I have the frame turned upright. I'm going to tuck your lens in at the outside corner. Then using my thumbs, I press down at the nose, and there's still a little bit of give, so I don't want to force it in there. With my thumbs, I'm going to use a hammer. Where's the tool? I'm going to beat this in there. No, I'm just kidding. I'm going to take this down about 0.2 of a millimeter until it snaps in very easily. Now, a millimeter to all my American friends is the distance between my thumbnails. I'm going to take 0.2 of that, which is 1/5, according to my new math, all the way around the circumference of your lens until it snaps in your frame easily. The reason why I don't want to force it is if it's too large, it will cause your frame to stretch, or as we also say in the business, roll. If you can imagine your frame, that bevel is a gutter just on your house. If it's too large, it's going to cause the frame to roll, and eventually over time that looks terrible. And since I'm a one-man operation and I cut every lens before it goes out the door, you want a perfectionist like me cutting your lenses so they fit in there perfectly. Plus, if you ever buy another color of this frame, you can pop your lenses in and out, because every day, of course I'm wearing the RayBan 2132 size 52. The color today is 6012, the tortoise beige to match my white and beige, and of course I have brown pants on today, so it matches. But every day I pop my lenses out and put them into a different color. I happen to have the blue crystal, which you see me wearing a lot, but every day same way. I tuck them in at the outside corner, push down the nose, and it snaps right in. But that way I get to accessorize every day when I get dressed. And when I pick out my shirt from the closet, I'm thinking, what glasses do I want to wear that day? And of course, as I mentioned, your lenses are unbreakable and bulletproof, so you will not hurt your lenses by popping them in and out of the frame, and you will not hurt your frame, providing that it's at room temperature when you try and do that. Plastic does get very brittle. I know you're in Austin, Texas, but plastic gets very brittle when it gets cold. Should you leave them in the car, I don't know how cold it gets there, but just make sure your frame, and I'll show you how to do this, but yeah, I have the frame, the side that I'm working on, closest to me. So don't worry, they're going to make this frame for several more years. But Kathy, if you ever buy another color of this frame, you're going to be able to pop your lenses in and out. So I tuck them in at the outside corner first, and again I have the frame perpendicular to my body and the side that I'm working on closest to me, but I tuck it in at the outside corner first, and then using my thumbnails I press down, not my thumbnails but just my thumbs, I press down at the nose and it snaps right in. So I'm going to flip this over to L, which stands for, it's Latin for not right. I think it's Latin. Something about me is not right. I'm going to tell you that now. Maybe it's something I ate. But I flipped it over to L, and we're going to cut the left lens, and this time it's going to trace the shape of the left side of the frame to make sure the lens is large enough to fit in there, always starting with the concave surface, the rear surface, and then it's going to move over and trace the convex front surface. And that concludes your vocabulary lesson of the day. Although you do need to memorize this because you will be tested at the end of this video. If you don't pass the test, I'm not shipping your glasses. So Austin, Texas, you guys are big on the music scene. Well, I'm in Durham, North Carolina. Right next door we have Chapel Hill, which is our big hot music city for the state in the area. I know Athens, Georgia is big, Chapel Hill, and Austin, Texas. Those three are probably the most famous outside of New York City for the music scene. Now, this block is no longer needed. If I was strong enough, can I do it? Can I do it? Yes. Pull it right off. I can only do that with lenses with an anti-glare coating. Now I'm going to pull that sticker off, and again we were concerned about edge thickness, but I just want to show you have none sticking out the side of this frame, so there's never any need to even think about polishing your lenses. So you have a great cosmetic finished appearance right there. So I'm going to put the lens back in my lensometer. I'm going to spin the axis wheel back to 60, put the lens in, rotate it, and I'm getting -3, so that is cut perfectly, and you have one step of astigmatism correction, which leads me to -3 1/4. Even though I said 3 and minus, we end up with 3 1/4. Remember high school algebra, we have two minuses and you add them together. So if someone owed you $3 and then borrowed another 25 cents, they would owe you $3.25. That is what we're getting, $3.25. Now your prescription, the unit of measure, you've heard of ounces, gallons, and pounds, where the unit of measurement in the optical world is a diopter, spelled D-I-O-P-T-E-R, and it starts at 0, which is Plano, also known, hey, Plano, isn't it a city in Texas? But it's also better known as non-prescription, but it starts at 0 and goes up from there, 0.25, 0.50, 0.75, 1, and so on, until we get to -3. Now, you need 12 steps of correction for your farsightedness. You are nearsighted. You can see up close great, but you need glasses for far away. So you need 12 steps of correction. Without your glasses on, everything is much larger than it appears in life. So when you put your glasses on, it will minify down to the correct size. So you need 12 steps of minification. Now you only have one step of astigmatism correction. Astigmatism makes everything a little bit blurry. Now there is a stigma over the word astigmatism. It really doesn't mean anything. It's like saying someone has straight hair, someone else has curly hair. Like my curly hair that I gotta go get cut off. I've just been too busy to get a haircut. Yes, I know, I was riding around on the Blue Ridge Parkway yesterday. I could have gotten a haircut, but no, I decided to spend time with the wife. That's right, honey. So this first number gets everything the correct size. The second number takes away fuzzy edges. Astigmatism is what makes 6s and 8s look alike, the letters P and F. So this first number gets everything the correct size. This one takes away the fuzzy edges. Think of it as the fine-tune knob, and that fine-tune knob we're going to turn to 60. On a straight line is 0 to 180, so we're going to turn that just past the 45 meridian to about 60. We're stopping well short of the 90 meridian, so we're about 60. Now the left eye, same powers as both, but we're going to turn that knob to 84, which is just before the 90th meridian. And that makes everything nice and crisp. Oop, let me get my glasses out of the way. So back to the handstone for the safety bevel real quick. Back to scraping that off with my thumbnail. My wife always complains that I scrape this onto the floor, so in her honor, since we spent all day together yesterday, I'm going to throw this away in the trash can, but I want you to see why I throw this on the floor. Look how far I have to walk to get to the trash can. I'm going to put that in my hand. See, I mean, who has time in the course of a busy day to go that far? Honey, that is why I throw everything on the floor. Sorry, honey. Okay, where's your frame? Here it is, here it is, here it is. So let me go back over here. Now, so I've turned the frame around this way. I have the empty side closest to me. And I tuck it in at the outside corners first, and then use my thumbs. I press down at the nose and it snaps right in. Let me show you how I take the lens out. Come on, peel off, there we go. But in order to take your lenses out, should you ever need to, or in the future, Kathy, years from now, if you want to reuse this frame, I can always send you just lenses only. Now, to take the lenses out, what I do is I turn the frame over. I have the temples pointed upward. Now I'm right-handed, so I grab the frame with my left hand. You're always going to use your thumbs to press downward. So I put my thumb at the nose, I put my other thumb on top, and of course I'm grabbing the other side of the lens. And using my thumb, I press down, and it pops right out. In order to pop it in, I turn the frame upright, tuck it in at the outside corner, press down with the thumbs. Same thing for the right lens. Put your lens on top, or the thumb on top of the other thumb, and press down. Let me tuck this one back in and peel the sticker off. I want to spin the axis wheel back to the 84th meridian and put it in, and I am getting -3 again, and then one step of correction, so we end up at -3 1/4. Your pupillary distance is 61, so I'm going to put my PD stick against my thumb on your right lens, and then when I hold it up on your left lens, we're getting 61 millimeters, so that is made perfectly. I want to move over here, and of course in all my videos this is the time while I'm cleaning the lenses to tell you that should you get these in the mail and they're too loose or too tight, or one side is higher than the other, realistically that's probably what's going to happen. That's because 80% of people have one ear that's higher than the other, and that is why 99% of all optical shops will do free adjustments if you stop in. So next time you're near one, just pop in and get these adjusted, but only if you need to. You may be perfect, I'm sure your husband thinks so, and you may not need these adjusted, but I'm going to go ahead and get them in standard alignment, also known as a 3-point stance. The 3 points are 1, 2, and the bottom of the frame being 3. I set it on the counter and press down, there is no wobble. I flip it over, press down, there is no wobble. When I say wobble, I'm part of that 80%. I have one ear that's higher than the other, so when you press down on mine, there's always going to be a wobble, but they sit level on me. So put these back on so I can see what I'm doing, yo. I'm going to make sure that the same amount of tension on each spring hinge, and there is. I'm going to make sure the temples overlap, that they're not skewed, and they are not. So that is that. Kathy in Austin, Texas. I hope you enjoyed watching as I made prescription lenses for your RayBan 5228 color 2012, which is the dark Havana tortoise in the 50 eye size. And of course, if anyone has any questions about what I can or can't do, although there's nothing I can't do with a frame and a pair of prescription lenses, but go ahead and email me at freeprescriptionlenses@gmail.com. Kathy would tell you I answer all of my emails and very quickly. So that's that, and everyone else hopefully got the chance to see how I bring that love and feeling back to glasses. Thank you.